Hello everyone, this is Dr. Donald John Babu. I'm a cancer surgeon, designated surgical oncologist and robotic surgeon at Reliance Hospital, Koperkerne, New Bombay. This is a part of our lecture series on cancer, and today we'll be talking about ovarian cancer. Now, for people who are listening to me for the first time, people who do not know what ovaries are, the diagram on the top right corner will show you where are the ovaries and to what organ does it belong to. So females have two ovaries just like men have two testicles. The ovaries are connected through the tubes to the uterus where the baby is born, where the baby is nurtured for 9 months by a woman and delivered through the cervix, which goes through the vaginal canal and is then finally delivered. So today we'll be talking of only the ovarian cancer. So to begin with, let's find out the causes of ovarian cancer. Now, ovarian cancer is very similar to breast cancer in the females because ovaries and the breast, they follow something called as the endocrine axis. The chemicals are released from the brain. It develops the breast. Follicles or eggs are released from the ovary. This seems like a 28-day cycle. Since the growth of the eggs, hence that of the ovaries, depend upon the chemicals. Now in chemicals, when I say chemicals, the scientific name for these chemicals would be hormones. Since the growth of these ovaries, thereby the eggs, depend upon these chemicals or these hormones, and overgrowth of these eggs or the follicles or the ovaries would lead to something called as cancer. Now, since this overgrowth is not under the control, it's not under our control, the final outcome of this overgrowth is what we call cancer. Now, anything that has got an excess of hormones would mean that would lead to cancer. So the hypothesis behind ovarian cancer are probably lengthy menstrual cycles, which means children having menstrual cycle at a younger age and then leading to menopause at a later age would mean they have more menstrual cycles, which means they are exposed to more hormones. Now, how can this menstrual cycle or the period of the menstrual cycle be shortened? When is it that we do not have a menstrual cycle? It's generally during pregnancy. So it is believed that females having more number of children have a lesser tendency to develop breast cancer or ovarian cancer. Unlike other cancers like lung cancer, which most probably arises out of exposure to tobacco, ovarian cancer does not have any kind of toxic component. Now, the toxic component could be only in terms of these hormones. Now, these hormones are generally the steroid hormones. So, people having estrogen cream after their menopause to prevent dryness, an overdose of these estrogen creams also can cause ovarian cancer. You would also want to know what are the other causes of ovarian cancer which are due to an increased exposure to these steroid hormones. Now, what one doesn't realize is obesity, which is generally because of the fat deposition around the waist. This also causes ovarian cancer because the fat cells, they secrete estradiol or estrogen. This fat is not regulated by the endocrine axis of the brain. So which means the more fat that you deposit around the waist, there is more exposure to these hormones. So it is very important that not just ladies, even men should go through your physical exercises, your physical training daily for a period of at least 45 minutes. Control your weight, control your diet. That goes without saying. A deposition of fat or obesity is a risk factor for ovarian cancer. There are other hypotheses, postulates like putting talcum powder around the perineum and other such toxin substances, which are just hypotheses, some deodorants, but these have not been proven. The only proven toxin that can cause ovarian cancer are these steroids, which generally arise out of diet, something like red meat, obesity, which is the fat around your waist, or nulliparous women, women who have not conceived a child. So these are the causes that generally seem to cause ovarian cancer. One of the other causes that can cause ovarian cancer, which is very common in the Indian population, are the hereditary causes. So somebody's mother is having it, grandmother is having it, sister is having it, or these are new mutations when the baby is born. So hereditary cancers are very common in India, unlike what we thought previously that it's only common in the West. And this is probably because of communities getting married, people in the community getting married within the community. So there is no genetic growth, there is no genetic dilution, it's all within the community, which probably is the cause of genetic cancers in India. So here we know what are the causes of ovarian cancer. How do we detect ovarian cancer? So according to the principles of cancer screening for our country or for Asian women, any woman above the age of 40 should undergo a routine sonography of the abdomen to pick up any masses in the ovary. CA125 and CA19.9 are the other markers of advanced CA ovary. We can also do a transvaginal ultrasound, not commonly done in India, but transvaginal ultrasound are more specific than an abdominal ultrasound because they can pick up smaller masses as well. Now, just a mass on a sonography doesn't signify ovarian cancer. On sonography, the mass in the ovary can be a simple cyst, a complex cyst. Simple cysts are generally common in women above the age of 40, but a cyst more than 5 centimeters should be evaluated. Complex cysts should always be evaluated. A complex cyst plus a raised CA125 or CA19.9 points towards a diagnosis of ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancers are never biopsied unless they are at an advanced stage. An early ovarian cancer should right away undergo surgery. Ovarian cancers should not be biopsied simply because ovarian, it's a mass containing fluid. You put in a needle and the water leaks, which means you are converting an early stage ovarian cancer into an advanced stage of ovarian cancer. So you never biopsy ovarian masses. So the diagnosis of an ovarian cancer would be a simple sonography, blood markers. That's it. If you feel that it's an advanced ovarian cancer, large masses, once it is diagnosed, the physician might advise you to take a CT scan of the abdomen. Now, once you diagnose an ovarian cancer, you stage it, which means it is an early stage or an advanced stage. When I say early stage, it means you only have a mass arising from the ovary. There is no water in the abdomen. There are no deposits anywhere else in the abdomen. An advanced ovarian cancer, you must have seen ladies with a bloated stomach. That's because they have a lot of water in the abdominal cavity. The water has leaked through the mass and it has had deposits all over the abdomen, which is also leaking water. That is an advanced ovarian cancer. That's when we biopsy an ovarian mass and we initially subject it to medical therapy before we operate. Now the diagnosis is over. We have staged the ovarian cancer. Now it comes to treatment. Now when we say treatment, we divide it into an early ovarian cancer, the early stages and the advanced stages. Now the early stages, you directly go in for surgery. surgery for ovarian cancer is generally an open surgery. We do not advise laparoscopy, robotic, or minimal invasive surgery for ovarian masses. You have to open the abdomen, completely remove the uterus and the ovary. You stage the abdomen. You look out for any other deposits which could have been missed on a CT scan, and then you close it. Once the ovary and uterus is removed, we subject it to histopathology. We watch it under a microscope. If it's a grade 3 ovarian cancer, it's an advanced ovarian malignancy, we advise you to take chemotherapy after that. An advanced ovarian cancer is generally the stage 3 and stage 4. We biopsy the ovarian cancer like I mentioned it before. Patient generally goes through cycles of chemotherapy. We shrink the tumor. We do a CT scan. We see to it that the tumor is now operable. We go in and remove everything that we see which probably has deposits of ovarian cancer. After the surgery, the patient again undergoes cycles of chemotherapy. So this kind of sandwich therapy is what we offer in advanced ovarian cancer. Once the treatment is done, follow-ups have to be done. Follow-up is generally done by a CT scan once a year with CA-125 in the first 2 years, which will repeat after every 4 months. A rising CA-125 could mean that the tumor is back, which means we have to initiate chemotherapy again. What are the side effects of chemotherapy? Chemotherapy can cause loss of hair. It can cause tingling numbness in the fingers, the hands, some kind of neuropathy very similar to diabetes. 90% of the time, this neuropathy is reversible. Hair fall is completely reversible. After 1 year, all the hair grows back. However, the consistency of the hair, the type of hair is more curly, it's more thick. It's not the hair that you would probably have had it before. The other complications could be some kind of pigmentation around your fingers, around your face. All these are reversible, nothing really to worry about. At our hospital, we have our chemo caps, which means while putting on the cap, hair fall is minimal. You can come here and take it, it's free of cost. The side effects of surgery, not really much, because once you've finished the family planning, uterus and ovary become vestigial organs. So you can get away by removing the ovary and the uterus. Generally, there are no complications. Few minor complications can happen, like wound infection, some kind of bleeding. Other than that, you generally do not have complications. Very, very advanced metastatic ovarian cancers do have the options of immunotherapy. These are very complex medicines, very expensive, and should be discussed with the physician. So to sum it up, the causes of ovarian cancer are generally the hereditary causes, something that comes from the family, exposure, overexposure to your hormones because of increased menstrual cycles, like nulliparous women, unmarried women, exposure to estrogens because of usage of hormone replacement therapy. For example, postmenopausal usage for vaginal drying. Other exposures of other causes for exposure of steroid hormones could be because of obesity, where the fat, they keep secreting estrogen. Hence, menopausal obese women have a higher chance of developing ovarian cancer, because this obesity, the fat that secretes estrogen, is not regulated. Unlike the menstrual cycle, that there are peaks of estrogen, but estrogen also goes down when the lady is bleeding. So these are the causes of ovarian cancer. Screening, that is picking up of ovarian cancer at an early stage, should be done annually. All ladies should undergo a sonography, CA-125, CA-19.9. A transvaginal ultrasound is more sensitive. It can be done in ladies who had family history of ovarian or breast cancer. Once it is diagnosed, Patient also undergoes a CT scan or even a PET scan is advised. Early ovarian cancers undergo surgery. It may be followed by chemotherapy. Advanced ovarian cancers generally undergo chemotherapy, surgery, followed by chemotherapy. Complications of chemotherapy are hair fall, pigmentation of skin, some kind of neuropathy, which is tingling numbness. Complications of surgery are minimal. You're generally in the hospital for 5 days and that's it. So that's all for the ovarian cancer. We will be announcing the date for our next lecture. The next lecture will be on breast cancer. Thank you.